Good evening. We're back with some more Lord of the Rings LCG, and tonight is the Hills of Emyn Muil Nightmare mode. Once again, we're playing Messenger of the King deck with Arwen, Elrond, and ally Glorfindel, the spirit version. The Hills of Emyn Muil Nightmare effect is to not allow you to play more than one progress per round on locations in the staging area, so that limits your ability to prevent location lock by clearing locations out of the staging area. This hand is okay, but I decide I can do better. And this is actually worse. But we'll go fetch Inner Strength, the Master Ring, or the One Ring, and Glorfindel. This deck that I'm playing is definitely not optimized. I'm relatively new to Messenger of the King decks. Haven't played it too much. I like it in concept. I don't like the setup. I would prefer to get the One Ring, Inner Strength, and the ally you want to play out of the deck first, and then draw your hand. For this quest, in case it's been a while since any players have played it, you need to find 20 victory points. It has only one phase. And to get those 20 victory points, you need to explore locations. The two in the staging area are worth 10 together, so you gotta find 10 more. So I discard a card with Arwen to gain a resource, and I'm gonna play Inner Strength and Light of Valinor. I'm debating whether to play it on Elrond or Glorfindel. This quest is relatively tame. In normal mode, it's one of the easiest quests in the game. But you can still lose by getting location locked primarily. So I decide I'm going to quest with everyone. And I get a nothing card, except it does have Doomed to another nothing card and a location. So I'm looking at 6 threat against, 9 threat, 4, I make 3 progress. That'll account for the 1 progress I need on the main quest. I may forget to place it here though. But I do have 3 progress on the main quest. And I'm going to go ahead and move to Amon Law, which blanks all of my attachments. For as long as it's the active location, I treat their text as if they're blank. And that is going to end up being a big deal, because it ends up being the active location for a lot longer than I wanted. Galdor of the Havens is a card I'm trying out with Arwen. Each time you discard a card, you can draw a card once per round. So, gonna go ahead and quest. Not sure why I don't send Elrond to. I guess I hold him back in order to defend. Well, actually, I don't know why I did that at all, because Light of the Valinor is free. So I should have sent him, but I didn't. I have no explanation for that. So it's 7 to 8. I make 1 progress. It could have been 3 more for no cost to me whatsoever. That is utterly bizarre. And the crows do nothing. I could have discarded a card to ready up Glorfindel and taken out the crows, and I do decide to do that. Messenger of the King doesn't allow you to ready an ally more than once per round, but that's all Glorfindel can do anyway. I should gain a resource with Glorfindel here. Just hasn't been automated yet. So this quest is really all about not getting location locked. And I don't have any method of clearing locations out of the staging area yet. In this deck I play Northern Trackers and Asfaloth. There is a Northern Tracker, but I can only add 1 progress per round. So I go ahead and discard a card with Arwen to grab a resource, and another card with Galdor, and the play here should likely be Northern Tracker, but I choose Elfhelm instead. I don't know why. I can't say I'm playing this particularly well so far. Unless I was expecting a lot of threat increase for some reason. There's been 2 plays so far that I find confounding. Amon Law would be clear now if I had just quested with Elrond like I should have. Now I'm thinking about what to discard to gain a resource. And now I get out Northern Tracker, as I realize the danger I'm in from... So I appear to have just simply forgotten about Light of Valinor. That's why I didn't send Elrond. I just simply forgot you don't have to exhaust him to quest. Oh, never mind. It's Amon Law. It's blanking my attachments. Of course, that's the reason. So I'm not as big of an idiot as I feared. I don't know why I played Elfhelm over Northern Tracker the first round, but at least he came out the next round. So that's not as bad as I feared. I couldn't use Light of Valinor to send Elrond to the quest because Amon Law is blanking it as long as it's active. So, okay, that makes sense. But I will be adding a progress to each location each round with Northern Tracker. Can't do any more than that, though, as per the Nightmare restrictions. And not too many enemies here, so it's really just a matter of getting out as much willpower as I can. And being patient, hopefully not taking too much threat. So I'm going to clear 2 locations here, it looks like, which is very helpful. They go to the victory display. There's relatively small amounts. And I get a crow and a nightmare enemy, tunneling nameless thing. After I travel to a location, it's going to engage the first player. I actually don't know if I ever travel to another location in this game. It wasn't really by intent, it just kind of worked out that way. But he does add 4 threat against me. That's 5 threat that came down this round. So I don't make any progress. I get out Vilya, and I'm really just going to be looking for more willpower in order to not get location locked. It was a significant concern at this point. Even if I had additional means, well, even if I didn't have the nightmare restriction, I don't have additional means. And I realize I forgot to engage and have the Northern Crows attack last round. They would have attacked Elfhelm, who was ready, and he would have defended it, no problem. Now I can proceed. Even if I didn't have the nightmare restriction, I don't have any other way of clearing locations out of the staging area at the moment, though they do exist in the deck. Nothing real good upcoming with Vilya. I don't think I'd decide to use Vilya here. I'm just shuffling around the way I chose to pay for things. A pretty formidable 11 threat against at the moment. And the maximum I can really quest for is 12, so unlikely to make any progress until I can clear more of those locations, and that's going to take at least 2 turns with Northern Tracker. Elfhelm can prevent threat increases by failing to quest. I'm just examining the situation and seeing if there's anything I can do to make it better. Checking to see what's been done. I can't see anything. I think I need to save a resource for a test of will. Just in case. To add one more progress. And we're getting close on 2 of the locations, and it's another tunneling worm. So that's the threat is definitely becoming a problem, a big problem. Gonna take a threat increase here. Elfhelm should reduce that by 1. I don't know if I remember that or not. And now there's an attack against Elfhelm. Now I remember him. And he will take a damage here. I could discard a card and ready Glorfindel to take out the crows, and I probably should. I could discard... Well, I kind of do need Faramir. So I decide I don't need Master of the Forge. Faramir would be quite good here if I can get him out. And I draw a card with Galdor because I discarded a card. Not going to have the resources for Faramir for one more turn, and that's if I take advantage of Arwen's discard here. Another Northern Tracker would be very good in normal mode, but in Nightmare mode, it's just going to be a 1-2-3 or 1-2-2-3 stat minion. But I do clear 2 more locations here, so we're making progress now. Still got a pretty formidable 10 threat against. We're actually getting close on the victory points. Close-ish. Amon Hen is going to be cleared next round, and there's a 5 threat location. So that's pretty rough. We're going to take on some more threat. Reduced by 1 with Elfhelm. Still couldn't Vilya even if I wanted to, thanks to attachments being blanked by Amon Law. If I discard a card with Arwen here, I can get out Faramir. Clear Amon Law. Discarded a card and drew a card to gain a resource. And I decide rather than playing another Northern Tracker, I'm going to lower threat by 6 with Galadrim's Greeting. It's the safer play by far. Now we're questing. Should be able to avoid taking on threat here. Clear Amon Law, or Amon Hen. And if I clear Amon Law, I think that's 20 points. And that will immediately end the quest, as I've already placed the 3 on Hills of Emyn Muil, though I forgot to do it earlier in the game. I don't know if I realized that at this point. It's another 5 threat. 5, 10, 18 against. So once again, I take on 1 threat, but I lower it by 1 with Elfhelm. Well, nothing to do but keep grinding, right? I should play Ioreth, and with Faramir, she'll actually quest for 1. There's a 3rd Northern Tracker. Unexpected Courage, but attachments are still blank at the moment. So it wouldn't be a particularly helpful draw. Counting up my willpower there. I'm, I guess, planning on clearing Amon Law at some point in the future with that plan to draw Unexpected Courage. Once again, 1 progress per location. And it's a hazard doomed to, but it can be cancelled, and it should be cancelled here, and I will cancel it. So 18. Do make some progress. 1 progress. Could have played Ioreth and quested with her as well, and that would have given me another progress. That would be a minor mistake. Now I think of it, and I could discard a card to get Quickbeam out with Arwen's helping resource, and that would be another 2 willpower. Probably would discard Gildor. But I don't do that. Guess I was being greedy and keeping Gildor. Each player must either increase his threat by 5. I'm going to cancel that one as well. Can do that one more time. And now I make the 2 progress I need. It's a good thing that those cards were treacheries that could be canceled. They came at opportune times. Now the game should end, because I do have progress on the Hills of Emyn Muil from the first turn of the game, which I forgot to place. I don't think at this point I realized that. So I'm currently under the impression that I have to continue. So the game continues for 1 turn longer than it should, owing to the fact that I forgot to place progress on the main quest. And now I get out Quickbeam. And since Emyn Law is no longer active, I can use Firyal and Elrond. But none of those guys are particularly high willpower, so there'd be a net negative in terms of the willpower I could bring to the quest if I do that. But I can use Light of Valinor finally and get out Beorn for the willpower. Again, the game should be over if I'd remembered to place the progress that I made earlier, but oh well. No problem. And the card is a 3rd treachery in a row, which once again I will cancel. And that will still take the doomed 5. That will end the game. For reals. So, even on Nightmare difficulty, this one's relatively mild as long as you've got a way to put some progress on the locations in the staging area. Northern Tracker is invaluable here. This quest could be a real problem without Northern Tracker. I don't think I would have won without that card. So, thanks for watching.